Yeah, so welcome all to this course on chaos engineering. So, as this name say is very new to this market, and many are trying to explore things around this, and many companies are adopting this, and it has become a necessity now, like any other traditional testing practices. Chaos engineering is being applied in many projects, and it is becoming a trend in the industry, mainly due to multiple reasons. Um, so generally, why now the chaos engineering is increasing? Obviously, it is due to the development of the distributed systems as such. The systems are becoming more and more complex, and we need to get into chaos engineering due to that, because there is chaos everywhere due to the complexity, and the traditional testing practices are leaving some untouched areas which we need to cover, and we need to test, or we can say we need to experiment it, because there is no term called testing in chaos engineering, it's called experimenting. So to give an overview on this course, like what all we will be generally looking into, and how we will be progressing in this course, and yeah, to say like for whom this course is, generally chaos engineering, as you all know, it's very much familiar, and it's very much given to a role of, like, the role who is acquired, like accountable for chaos engineering is generally an SRE. We call it the system reliability engineer as such. But nowadays what is happening is, uh, like all the organizations, generally, they are making chaos engineering as a testing practice. So what's happening there is, it's like getting combined with, like, let's say we have a performance testing team, so they do chaos engineering. There's automation testing team, they do chaos engineering. So the chaos engineering is now being considered like an add-on, or it's being clubbed with other testing practices, rather than it being done by the SRE alone. So it's growing. So if you are from any testing background, or you want to enter into the QA, chaos engineering will surely help you, and also in the journey of an SRE, because an SRE surely has to know what is chaos and how this chaos engineering happens around, and what all principles are behind that, what all activities are we need to do as a chaos engineer, because it's a very new field, and you will find lot of things around, and lot even the community of a chaos engineering, like, is very small now. It's not that mature, so you will find lot of wrong content also on the internet. But you need to be sure, like, which is right and which is wrong, which can be only provided to you by some experienced people who are already working on that. So we need to be really careful about what we are tool we are using, what activities we are performing, how we are doing it, whether we are doing it correctly or not, and all those questions. So those questions will be answered here. And as we progress in the course, generally any course will have an introductory module. So we will also have one in which we will be covering the principles and the process of chaos engineering, and what all activities a chaos engineer does, the generally, like, in a project, like how he progresses, like what all we need to worry about, and all those things. Then the prerequisites, like for doing any chaos engineering, what all prerequisites are there, right? The limitations, what all we can't do, and what all is not, because whenever you do some engineering, as we know what all we can do, we also should know what all we cannot do, because that's where we understand the activity what we are performing well. Otherwise we will have some areas, some gray areas, which we might do mistakes by not knowing the limitations. So, and the setting up the prerequisites. So any testing or any engineering which you take has some prerequisites, right? So that we will understand, like what all prerequisites are required and what all we need to set up. Then if we speak about practical hands-on, surely we will break a lot of systems, different types of systems. We will be working on different systems like Kubernetes. We will be seeing how to generate chaos onto a container, onto a Docker, onto, like, how to attack a database, how to attack Kubernetes system, okay, and an application and also how to attack services separately. So why I am using this word attack, we will come to know. In chaos engineering, generally if we just compare with any other testing, the test case, or like let's say the test what we are doing is called the attack, what we are doing. So we can just compare in that way, but it's very much different. We can't totally compare to other testings, because here we don't have a testing, we have experiments. So we will learn about that too, like why it is experiments and not testing. Yeah, so and in the module 2 onwards we will be seeing some action, like what are, like more sort of how implementation, we can say. Okay, so how will you implement chaos engineering into your project? How to go step by step from planning, some tool selection and all those. You'll be covering everything from end to end. So how do you progress, like how do you implement it in your project? Then the metrics and monitoring, like what all we need to capture, how do we collate our results, and how do we pass on the results to the team, and how do we how important is the metric collection, how the baselines can be derived, and all those stuff we'll be covering here. Then the tool, if we come to the tool, there are two tools which we will be focusing on. One is the Gremlin, which we will be majorly focusing on, which is the current chaos engineering tool, which is very much popular due because it's the only paid tool and reliable tool. The others are open source tools, so they have their own drawbacks of being open source, like the security issues, or the as you know, the community is small, because chaos engineering is a very new field. So if you want something, if you get into some issue, there is no one to help you in open source. But in Gremlin, we have, it's a paid one, but still open source is required. So we can't rely on only the paid tool because it's paid. So might be our client or our project won't allow us to apply that. So we will be seeing one open source tool which is called Chaos Toolkit. That also we will be seeing. So two tools we will be seeing, Gremlin and Chaos Toolkit. And also we will be comparing these tools to all other available major tools like Powerful Seal, or AWS Fault Injection Simulator. We'll be all, or will, or let's say Toxi Proxy. There are a lot of tools available now. Chaos Mesh is there, Chaos Blade is there. So we'll be comparing why we are choosing these two, and why these two, like if you learn and if you apply, and why it is better than all other tools available. Like there is some pro and cons available for other tools. That's why we have come to these two, Gremlin and Chaos Toolkit. Um, and yes, based on the working, only the working will change, but the principles will remain same in all the tools. So when we learn a tool here, mainly the working, the languages which in which the tool is built, or the work, like how do we configure things, those things change, but the principles remain same, the different types of attacks remain same, and the functionalities which will allow you to choose a tool. Like let's say if I choose a Chaos Toolkit, now Chaos Toolkit has its own capabilities. So those capabilities are the one which will help us to choose that tool based on our project, or whatever application we are testing. Like if you choose Chaos Toolkit, Chaos Blade wouldn't have some capabilities which Chaos Toolkit has. So you will have to go with Chaos Toolkit. There is no other option. So in that way, so that we'll be discussing as we progress. Then we will be doing some real chaos engineering attacks on some real systems, some microservices based application, which is our demo application. We'll be testing that, and like an end-to-end chaos engineering we will do on that services on an application which we have. And as I said, we will be doing on containers, we'll be doing it on databases. And yeah, nowadays it's a trend, like any testing we have, we should have some automation in it, right? Like, so similarly in chaos also we have automations. We automate our chaos experiments. So here we'll be using Jenkins for that, and we'll be creating, like we'll be seeing how to automate our chaos experiments using Jenkins pipeline. So, and how to shift left in your chaos. If like many would have heard this term also, the shift left. So we'll be seeing how we can shift left for chaos. Then all the I guess there might be a major audience like from performance testing background. How many of are you from performance background? Anyone out of performance like automation or someone like that, or are all from performance testing?
Yeah, I'm from performance, Krishna.
Yeah, hi Krishna.
I'm also into performance business. Right.
Yeah, okay. So I think major audience is here from performance background. So that's why we have tailored special module for that, which is we use Jmeter tool and Gremlin integration. So we integrate Jmeter and Gremlin with each other, and what we are doing there is we are combining chaos and performance together, which is like a hybridization of two testing practices together. So when you run JMeter, like there you're doing only a load test. But in what we will see is how we can, while you're running a load test itself, how you can do a chaos engineering activity also. So that also we'll be seeing using JMeter. So that will be really interesting for the people from performance. Um, yeah, so the CI/CD pipelines, yeah, we'll be seeing like how to implement the CI/CD pipelines and all. Yeah, and the future scope, like how the chaos engineering and how you can grow in your career. And out of this, like after this, what we will be doing is we will be also finishing the certification of Gremlin Chaos Engineering certification, which we'll be doing at the end of the course once we learn everything. I will be helping you in that, but I'm sure like my help won't be required there when you reach there, because obviously we would have covered everything in our course. So that certification would be very easy for you. But still, we will be doing it together. So you can easily crack that. So that is a final thing. And also, I guess after that you'll get one. So this is different from the Isha certificate, which you will get. Isha certificate is different. This is the Gremlin certificate, which is provided by Gremlin. The certificate is provided by Gremlin for the chaos engineer. So that also we'll be doing. So that's pretty much
So
about the, yeah. Sorry, who was it?
yeah, sure. Yeah. So here we are going to do with both the certifications. Right? One is the practitioner and also the advanced, right?
No, we here we'll be doing only the foundation. The pro one you can do it later on as per the your time and all. Yeah,
Okay. Okay. So, okay. Yeah, may I know the duration of the entire course?
yeah. So generally
Sorry, I
we take
joined.
around, yeah. Generally we take around based on the interaction and the class. So considering all those, around 20 to 22 hours we take based on,
Okay.
because if sometimes the audience are more interactive, so it might stretch to 22 or 23 hours. But yeah, the average you can say 20 hours. Yes.
20 hours in the sense per day, every 1 hour or more than
Yeah,
that?
so generally it is every day 1 hour, but what I generally do is I after the demo sessions are completed, I will speak with the audience separately, and based on the audience majority, like we might like take maybe some sessions, like I not say all sessions, maybe 2 hours a day also sometimes, because let's say if I'm doing chaos engineering on Kubernetes, so if I do it in 2 sessions, it's a break. So sometimes it's not possible. So I say, okay, tomorrow the session might be 2 hours. So we plan in that way.
Okay.
Yeah. So maximum 2 hours, not more than that per day.
Okay.
And Saturday,
So,
Sunday, yeah, off.
yeah, by end of this session, can we expect like one can able to integrate that Jmeter to cost engineering?
Yes, surely. But yeah, that again the tool which you use, because here I am covering Gremlin and Chaos Toolkit. So only
Mhm.
this two will be, but the other tools, like so as I said, Chaos Engineering is like the principles will remain same, but the tool knowledge, right? When we go like when we progress with the course, you'll understand the tools here are more sort of the language which it is built on. Okay, so that you need to know. Like let's say if you go with some other tool like other than Chaos Toolkit is based on Python. So there I will be giving everything what all you need, like pre-built. But if you go with some powerful seal or some other tool, there you will have to do some digging based
Oh,
on the community. Yeah. But
yeah.
Gremlin is very much like very easy to learn because it's a paid tool, as you know. So they have made it very simple. So there won't be like much of a configuration which you want to do. But open source, there is a lot of work behind implementation itself. So you have to do a lot of things when you just install it, or you need to configure a lot of things based on your application. Yeah, it's there.
Okay. So like we can able to integrate with any one of the open source from our end, right? So if we are
Yes,
going with some sort of like license protection, it will be very bit difficult for us in order to do that because we need to purchase license and all those stuff.
correct.
So
Yeah.
from our own
So
personal system, we can able to
yeah,
integrate with any one of the open source tool, correct?
correct. So
Uh,
Chaos Toolkit is open source. Gremlin, there is one free trial which they give for 2 targets. Like if your application has only 2 targets, you can use it free. Like there is no paid. So if you're doing a proof of concept or something, you can use Gremlin free trial to
mhm.
showcase like what all you can do.
Okay. Yeah, got it. Thanks, Vishnu.
Yeah, thank you. Any other question? Anyone?
Vishnu, I would like to know like what is like SRE here, and also you can give your introduction, like how many years in chaos engineering, like how you have implemented, and all
Yeah.
that. Just can you throw some highlights on this?
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
And what
So
are the applications like we can do this chaos? Is every web application, or like what kind of application is suitable?
yeah, so generally, like I currently have I like what I'm currently working as is I'm just handling the delivery architect's role, which is uh, like our application. What we currently work on is a distributed system, which is like little very I can't say out the client name, but yeah, it's very complex system and it's based on microservices architecture. So we need a lot of chaos engineering because there are around 8 to 10 microservices, and there are sub microservices which interact with those microservices, and we test for chaos like very frequently, because I handle not only chaos engineering, also the other testing practices also, because being an architect we need to look over everything, and we also have to look after the SRE processes also. So generally we look out of everything. But yeah, before I came into the delivery architect position, I was handling the SRE role plus a performance architect role also. So so in that way I have a good testing knowledge, but I started my career as a developer, so the development knowledge is also good that time. Yeah, so and yeah, if the tools which I worked on, generally, if we speak in chaos engineering, I would have uh, did POC for almost all the tools available in the market, because we keep on like analyzing for improvements, because as I said, chaos engineering is a very new field. If you say the real chaos engineering is happening from only past 5 years, before that, if you see the history or the Netflix and all, though it started like 8 years back, Chaos Monkey and all, but they were not that organized, we can say. So that chaos engineering became organized only past 5 years. So there is where the things became more normal, and things became little bit more clearer what we are doing and all. Yeah, so the tools, and mainly the tool which we are currently using in our project is Gremlin and Chaos Toolkit. Chaos Toolkit we use for our on-premise apps, and our cloud-based applications we use Gremlin. And the cloud which I have worked on is, we have Azure, and also before this I worked on AWS. So these clouds knowledge I have. So yeah. So any other question, Raj? Specific question? Anyone?
You said like in the course leap to SRE. So how
Yeah.
does it? I mean,
Yeah, that's a
what,
good question. Yeah. Why I didn't put directly like an SRE is because SRE is not only a chaos engineer. It's like he has to know more other things also. So chaos engineering, but is a leap towards. But that means you can grow towards the role of an SRE with chaos engineering, but you can't grow only with chaos engineering. You need to know a good. You need to have a good development knowledge also, because an SRE is not only he doesn't do only testings. He has to get in deep into he has to have a good programming knowledge. That's what I meant. But for a chaos engineer alone, you don't need a programming language. That's how it has evolved. Like chaos engineering is now being done as a testing practice, so that can be done without much of a coding knowledge. But to become an SRE, you need to have a programming knowledge. So that's why this line is there, a leap towards. That means you can leap towards the SRE role, but it's only chaos engineering is not enough. You need to have a programming knowledge also, or the development knowledge for that application which you are doing.
Okay, understood.
Yeah.
So the future will be like if we have some programming knowledge, we can go to SRE level as well, right? Based on our.
Correct. It will be very easy. It will be very easy because only the programming knowledge is what which will pull you back from becoming an SRE if you know chaos engineering, because that chaos engineering with programming knowledge is what will make you an SRE.
Understood.
Yeah. Any other question, anyone?
Yeah, here by any chance can we get a like sort of the things related to Python basics?
Python basics I won't be covering, but what I will be doing is what all codes and commands and what all you will need for this course I will be showing, like the implementation, configuration, everything. But yeah, Python as such I won't be covering. Yes.
Okay, fine.
But what all I'll be doing, you will be also be able to do hands-on together. You either you can do it with me, but sometimes it's not possible because of the time constraints. So generally, what my students do is they just go back, see my recording. They do it later on, like after the course or after my class is done. So and
Yes.
they do it and come back with the question. Yeah.
Yeah, that will be good option, Vishnu. Like parallelly, it will be we cannot concentrate, right?
Correct. Yeah.
So we
Yeah.
may miss some option.
Correct. Yeah.
Even if we concentrate, then it will be a bit hard for us to, I mean, learn the real things.
Yes, correct. So
Yeah.
yeah, so any option, any like if someone is like fast for like fast and are able to catch up with my pace, then they can do with me, or either otherwise later they can go with the recordings. Recordings are always available to you, like will be provided, so you can go through those recordings, and I think that those recordings will be available to you maybe, I don't know the time frame, but maybe a year I guess, or more also, I don't know. That is based on the uh, but yeah, generally it is there available for all.
Vishnu, one last question. Like, if our in our organization we want to implement this like practice, like as you said, other than like testing practice, so you can give some support, like how we can set up and all the things, right? By the end of the course, we will also get the full knowledge, and if at all any support is required, so you will be available, right?
Yeah, surely. I will helping you through
WhatsApp.
the WhatsApp or something. Yeah, surely. If you get stuck anywhere, what all I can do, I will be helping you. But yeah,
Yeah,
anyways, I'm also little like by schedule. If you see, it's little busy schedule, so might be small delay
no,
in my.
I mean, whenever we have some issues or some, because it's new, right?
Yes, correct.
So that's why you are already working, like, see, otherwise, everybody we
Yeah,
need to do some research. So in
yes.
case, if you have already know that, then immediately we can do that, or else both we can search and then you can help each other,
Only
right?
thing is, I might be not be able to help you like setting it up fully from ending. But yeah, if you get stuck anywhere, I can help you to.
No, but I mean, like at the end of the course, we will be in a position that we can
Correct.
do like ourselves, right? At least
Yes.
90 to 95%. I mean,
Yes, more I like because one thing good about chaos engineering is especially if you go with the tool Gremlin, things are very easy for configuration. Only then the attacks which you do, which you create with your mind, or the test cases, only there is where you need to be innovative. But the tool wise it will be simple. But Chaos Toolkit or some other open source, if you choose other than that, then it might get tricky. Like it might change with the tool. That because it's application dependent. Like there's unknown variables there.
So one more question, like performance test plan here also chaos engineering planning we will do, like we will cover like what are the tags or what I'm not sure about the wording. So what we
Yeah,
are be doing, so we will be doing that like template kind of stuff you can share, right? You will share, right? Like what needs to be implemented.
yeah, you will be getting it, and it's
And
not that.
also like reports, like performance reports, like what we need to project, what are the metrics, or I don't know, like maybe.
Yeah, I get your point. Yeah, how to like I will be giving you some templates also which we are currently using. So,
Hmm.
what all metrics you need to provide to the team, like after your
Hmm.
experiments are done, how to derive some observations out of it. Yeah, those things. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So generally, the application which we will be working on is one e-commerce application, which is a microservice-based application, our demo application. So we will be testing on those. So that will generally cover any bigger application which you will be going ahead. So that I meant the test cases and all. Once we work on that application, you can apply it anywhere. It's an e-commerce, so there are some multiple microservices also there. So yeah, that way it will help you. Even you will be able to use that demo application like for you to practice. So yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Any more questions, anyone?
Yeah, hi Vishnu. So, any other prerequisites that we need to go through when
Yeah, so
starting,
the
this
main
course?
main prerequisite I will say is better if you have a testing background, it's more than enough. Coding knowledge, I am not expecting much because anyway, this course is made for QA sort of roles, not for an SRE as such, as the title says. So the coding knowledge much is not required. And if at all, whatever little is required or for configuration and all, I will be giving everything. Those codes also, the snippets, I will be giving you the text files and also you can just copy paste. Yeah, so prerequisite by, yeah, you can be only mainly the testing background will help you little bit, like how we test things and all, so that should be there. And also, yeah, that's the main thing what we need.
Yeah. So as you said, like it is based on the Python, right? So
Correct.
any Python scripting. Apart from that, any other scripting knowledge is required, at least basic,
No,
to know
no,
to have effective understanding.
correct. So for Chaos Toolkit, it's a Python based tool, so you need only Python. But as I said, like if you go to some other tool like Powerful Seal or if I remember the Chaos Blade, it's on, I think, Go programming. So you need to learn, you need to know Go there. So that thing will be there. But yeah, for Chaos Toolkit, Python is enough. And
Okay.
that also, I will say, like that you will be requiring because even anyways I'll be providing everything to you in my git the report, like the GitHub repo also I'll be providing you, so it will have already a lot of codes written, so you can directly use that. Yeah, but still, if you know Python, it's always good because you can modify those codes for your application.
Okay.
But Gremlin, it's totally free of coding. It's totally UI and non-GUI, so it's anyone can learn it, like with a testing background.
Okay. Thanks,
Yeah,
Vishnu.
yeah. Anyone? Any other question?
What is the system requirement for installing the required softwares?
Yeah, actually, we are using a cloud, so you need to have a AWS free account or Azure free account, I will say, because Azure gives you what we can say, the flexibility of creating any system of whatever configuration we need. So we need an Azure free account that you can create. Like we have time anyway, the 1 or 2 days are there. So one Azure free account everyone has to create. Even I can show you like how to create that if anyone is not aware about Azure. And some things we need to do before we start with, because so that your credit card is not charged with any money, because some might, if they know already, there's no problem with Azure. But if someone is not knowing Azure, I will show you how to create a free trial. Yeah, that's the only thing which we need, prerequisite. Then in that we will create machines for our purpose.
Okay, so you mean then we don't need to install any of the software on the laptop?
No. We will be doing everything on the cloud only.
Okay, all right.
Anyone, any other question, or we can proceed?
One
Yeah,
last
one
question, like
you
it
said,
is, sorry, go ahead.
You said that we'll be able to attempt the Gremlin certification at the end of the course. So what is the fees for that?
No, that's a free course, but only thing is only 3 attempts or 4 attempts are only allowed. So you need to clear that, and the fees is free. Like there's no fees for that. Yeah.
Okay.
So if we want to do it through the Linux system, CLI mode and GUI mode is also available, right? Both.
Yeah. For Azure, you're asking, Raja?
Yeah, for anything, like if the applications are deployed in a Linux environment, so how can we proceed? So on the same system, we need to deploy this tool and then we do command line, or how is it?
Yeah. So that we'll be seeing, like that process.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. And also, as you pointed out, the overall course will be not covering Windows, but Windows and Ubuntu, like the Linux, the commands are similar. So that's why we are not doing both. We are doing only Linux systems, which is majorly used everywhere. But Windows also, you can use the same code. And wherever the code will be not similar, I will point out. I will let you know if there is any change in the code for Windows and Linux.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so let's move on. So this is a introductory module. And yeah, one more thing, like this question I used to get every time. So just pointing out. So the demo session, there is this is the real sessions which is going on. So the real sessions have started already. So it's not like demo session 2 days and then we'll start again. These are the real classes. So we'll be continuing the course with this. So just for information, everyone. Yeah. Okay. So in this introductory module, we'll be seeing some introduction to chaos engineering and some principles of chaos engineering and what all activities generally a chaos engineer does, some processes of chaos engineering, the prerequisites, then some we will see some basic experiment on chaos engineering using Gremlin. Now, as I said, like why chaos engineering, like why do we do chaos engineering? So first of all, the main reason is the complex distributed systems have increased a lot. So if you see any application like nowadays, it's very complex. Like there might be 2, 3 microservices or 4 microservices, and each microservices will be on different language, different database, different. So it's a complex thing, and these things work when they're integrated, they work together, and this integration is where the things become more complex, and out of the blue issues come out, and that we need to find out, or that we need to test. So how do we test it? That's where chaos engineering comes into play. So generally, if you say, chaos engineering is generally done majorly for distributed systems, but it can be done for the monolithic systems also, but it's more fruitful, or we can say it is more reasonable, or we can or I will say it's more better to say it's more efficient for the distributed systems. Now, and again, the cloud architecture. So cloud is again very complex. So things going on to cloud and new services coming. So like let's say before few days, or I will say before few not days, for a few months or years. Middleware, like we used to have Mule, now we have API gateways coming in, and this is like the constant change in services, constant change in technology is also again giving rise to chaos engineering, because there is a need of for to test these new technologies, new things coming in, which is a total chaos. And the third important point is outages. Now, if you see even Amazon or big companies like Google, they have outages happening. Now, why do these outages happen? Obviously, we test it, we do performance, we automate, do automation testing, but still these outages are happening. And why are these outages happening? So to reduce those outages only, we do chaos engineering. So outages are a very important point which we try to reduce as a metric. Like if you have some 5 or 10 outages happening in a month, you try to reduce it as much as possible using chaos engineering. Maybe you reduce from 10 to 2. So that's also an objective which we have in chaos engineering. And finally, it's like a vaccine. So people might ask, like, why do we do chaos engineering? It's like a vaccine. So if there is some outage coming, or let's say some incident going to happen, we will be ready for that incident or the outage now itself. So it's like a vaccine. A virus is coming, and we will be ready for that virus. Not that we do something after it happens. We are doing something before it happens. So that is chaos engineering. Now, if we speak about the history of chaos engineering, if we date back the history, Netflix is the one which started chaos engineering very early stages. Then later on, because they were the people who started with chaos engineering. Why they started it? Because they were moving on to AWS, and their systems were becoming very complex, and they wanted some testing practice which will test those systems. So they started with first tool called Chaos Monkey. Okay, and this Chaos Monkey then had a very limited functionality, which was generally to inject only few failures. But they wanted to go ahead with multiple failures, so they created Chaos Kong, Chaos Gorilla, so different tools. Okay, and finally they gave name to all those tools together as Simian Army. So there, and that was the point when the real chaos engineering happened in many organizations, because what they did is they just dropped that code into the GitHub and made it open source. So Chaos Monkey is available on GitHub. Anyone can use it, and they can apply it in their organization. So in that way, things started growing, if like more efficiently. Now this question comes to everyone, like there whenever someone is applying, like someone is implementing chaos engineering in their project, or whenever they are progressing with it, this question comes to many people's mind, like what is chaos engineering? Because already we have performance, already we have failure testing, security testing, automation testing, lot of testings available. Now what is this new sort of testing which is coming again, and how do we justify it? So first of all, the main question is, we need to understand chaos engineering is not a testing practice. That's why we call it experimenting, because here in testing we already know what is the expected outcome, but in experiments we don't know that. Okay, so that's why in chaos engineering it is called experimenting and not testing. So why do we experiment on a system? First of all, the main objective of experimenting on a system is to understand whether the system is really reliable. Now, why we need this reliability? So until unless we don't know whether the system is reliable or not, and we won't be having that confidence, okay, on the system to do anything. So, and once you have a confidence in a system, you will be very much flexible, or you will be very much it will be very much easy for you to move on, or let's say to increment the system or apply any new technology to the system. But if you're not confident with already available system, then you will be always like pulling back to apply any new technology. So that confidence is what the system will give you, is what the chaos engineering will give you. And also we need to understand how the system is acting under turbulent conditions. Now, what is turbulent conditions? The noise or the chaos which we don't know, like let's say if you have an auto scaling setup, so how well our system is behaving when autoscale fails, or when our zone, when we have a zone and multiple zones, how the zones fail, or how our system will react or recover from those issues. Or let's say there is some database and some queue. So if a database goes down, how the queue is responding, how well the database is recovering properly once that, in what time, or what how much effort is required to recover those systems. These everything we study using chaos engineering. Now, to do this, to artificially create these issues, it's difficult with the already available tools. That's why we use chaos engineering tools. And the other important thing here is the production. So chaos engineering is the only testing practice. Just to record, it's not testing but an experimenting practice, which we do on production. Okay, so production environment is the final place where we do chaos engineering on. So generally what happens is, when we do chaos engineering, we do it on the lower environments. So whatever environments you have, dev, performance, or your test environment. So once you do it on all these environments, then finally you do only those experiments which you are fixed on the production. So that's how we will be speaking about this process in very detail as we move on. But just to get the gist of it, production, we need to test the things, and that is a real challenge here, because testing in production, you need to be really careful. You need to have a more detailed understanding of the system and what you are testing and all those stuff. So that's where things become more challenging. But yes, obviously we'll be doing all those in the lower environments, and we don't directly jump into the production. Okay. The second important point is, again, we should have a controlled and planned experiment, and we should be always be prepared for any unpredictable failures and all. And also we need to, like, why chaos engineering is required, we need to also prepare our engineers for any failures, right? So that also this chaos engineering helps. Okay. And also the game days, we'll understand what the game days and as we progress. Now let me show you quickly the Gremlin tool. um, though it comes in the later modules, but I thought it might be just let me log into Gremlin. I'll be showing all this, how to create the account and all as we progress. But this one, just I wanted to show you the dashboard and some basic things, what all we can do using Gremlin, since this is a demo session. So yeah, so this is how a Gremlin dashboard will look. The fresh dashboard, like where you have not configured Gremlin onto any system or any target as such. So this is how the dashboard will look. The Gremlin has multiple options, as you can see at the left hand side. And targets are nothing but the hosts or the services, the hosts which you are attacking. So if you have configured Gremlin onto any machine or any system, those targets will appear here. Okay. And the services, so Gremlin has one important functionality which is very useful. So if you have any services running in your system, like in your the microservices, if they are running in your system, Gremlin will automatically like them or discover those services, and it will list here. So what you can do is you can attack these services separately. Like if you want to attack only cards or catalog, or like if you say these are the services, the front end orders, catalog, are these are the services. So you can attack those services one by one by doing that. So that way Gremlin makes our life simple. Then there is something called, if I go to attacks. Okay. So these attacks are nothing but where you run different types of attacks. So there are different attacks available, like the CPU attack, which are called the resource attacks. There are network attacks like latency. You can add latency into the network and study like how the latency is affecting the network stability and all. and how it is, that chaos is affecting our system, that you can study. Then there are some packet loss attacks, black hole attacks, which are generally for simulating the issues where we have a zonal failure, like a disaster recovery test, we can call it, like, right? Those we can do. Then there is something called a time travel attack, which we will see, like what is this time travel attack as we progress. So those different attacks are available in Gremlin. Once you run, so you can run those attacks by going into this option, creating a new attack. Since we don't have any targets here, now it won't be enabled. Okay, so because we don't have any system configured now. This is a fresh Gremlin account. Now, and also we have clients where you will be seeing all those clients available, the hosts which were available. Now, this another thing which important thing you need to remember here is this is a free version of Gremlin. So free version has some limitations, like only 2 targets you can attack using this free version. So if you want to increase your targets more than 2, you need to go for a pro version. That is the only limitation. Otherwise, there is no limitation for number of attacks and number of anything you can do, how much ever you want. There is no limitation for that. Yeah, so this is how the dashboard will look of a Gremlin account. Any question from you?
Vishnu, Sangeeta here.
Hi, Sangeeta.
Yeah. Vishnu, when you were speaking about the targets, can I
Yeah.
get a clarity about that? Because when you speak from an Acunetics or a security testing point, it says the target means like, your application URL, basically. That is what you say as a target in Acunetics part of security.
Yeah.
But when you're speaking about the Gremlin tool and the targets, because the first, like, as soon as you showed me about the Gremlin, it says about the infrastructure. So
Yeah.
do you mean when you say target is a any kind of a service, can be a API gateway or any of the one microservice or 2 microservice? Is that the target means?
No, actually the targets here means the host, the instances which you have.
So you mean to say EC2 instance, anything can be
Correct. So
EC2,
if it's,
ECS,
yeah,
Fargate
yeah,
and things as such.
correct, correct. If you have AWS, it's EC2. Like if you have 2 EC2 instances, how many ever pods are there available inside that containers, that doesn't matter. But how many EC2 instances you have, those are the targets, the count.
Okay, so basically it's a kind of an infrastructure testing that you're talking about, chaos engineering basically, right?
Um, yeah, so that we can't jump into directly now because yeah, because there is a lot to that. Not because here the Gremlin is giving you, we can say, more infrastructure side testing. Yeah, that can be a correct statement. But
Okay.
chaos engineering, there is functional chaos also. It's
Uh-huh.
not only,
Okay.
yeah, if you are very good, like that we will speak up. But yeah, to give a quick overview, like what is functional chaos. So if you're really good at the programming, okay, or we can say the development knowledge is good, you can also create some functional chaos.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yep.
that we, yeah, we will see some example that time we will be clear.
Makes sense. Thank you.
Hey Vishnu.
Yeah.
So which means if number of services are deployed in the single host, so can we capture can we capture the metrics for all the services, right?
Yes, correct. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
understood.
Only thing is, so generally 2 targets will be identified by this free version. Okay, so what all services will be there available in on those targets, it will identify.
It will identify. Okay.
Yeah.
And do we have any limitations on monitoring or alerts apart from targets?
No. And also, yeah, one more thing about monitoring, there won't be any limitation there. As I said, only limitation is this, which is the target where
Targets.
they have kept the
Oh,
catch.
understood.
Yeah. And the main thing, right, like what I wanted to call out is, though this looks a paid tool, and it looks like clients might not be interested to apply this now, but later on in future, like as you know, now if you compare Jmeter and LoadRunner, LoadRunner is being used, right? Though it's a paid thing and a lot of money is going into that. Or let's say Neoload is a free paid tool, so people are using it. So now the chaos engineering is just budding up, so people are looking for open source alternatives. But once they understand the importance of chaos engineering, surely things will go towards the paid ones, because which is more easy to like the easy to install, configure, less time, very high flexibility, good support. So surely things will be in that way. But yeah, for now, as to start off with, we need to have a open source also in hand, so that we don't get stuck until that time. So Gremlin is always a good tool to have in your bucket, which will come handy surely later on. Okay, any other question? Yeah, okay then, or else if no question, we can stop here for today. We'll be continuing tomorrow, same time. Yeah.
Okay, Vishnu, sure.
Yeah. Thank you all.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you, Vishnu.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye bye.